Thanks for staying with us. So we have another story in Punch. You have a story?
Yes, an empowerment group, the SESHEB Initiative for Sustainable Development in Bauchi State, has decided to empower women and youth. Knowing the ongoing conversations that happen in the north, in Bauchi State, about women and youth, this is applaudable, right? And one of the things the group had said was that they hope to provide enlightenment, advocacy, support services, access to intervention and platforms for skills development and sustainable empowerment. This is a step in the right direction, as the Bauchi Local Government Association coordinators had an inauguration to celebrate this milestone by the NGO. Okay, so I have a story. I mean, following the signing of the new Electricity Act by our President in 2023, right now, if you recall, the power sector has been decentralized such that NEC doesn't have the full power. All the states have been individually empowered to regulate electricity within their state. So currently, according to this report, there are about, I think it's few states, I think it's 7 states can now control their own electricity markets in accordance with the Electricity Act of 2023. That's Enugu, Ondo, Ekiti, Imo, Oyo, Edo, and Kogi. Other states like Lagos, Ogun, Niger, and Plateau are also expected to complete their own migration to between June and September. So what happens is that the individual states can then regulate power. So it doesn't have to go through NEC anymore, because it seems like NEC has weakened their power with the years and it's not been able to regulate the entire nation. So since the President signed that act, it's a historic shift in Nigeria's electricity governance from centrally regulated to one where states can now distribute, regulate within their borders, which is good. I'm really waiting for Lagos State to be the one in charge of distribution, because all the ones are going up and down to NEC. We can now hold Lagos State government. I think it's LASEC, I believe. There's going to be, not LASEC, that's for elections. There's a Lagos State body that actually handles power. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Plateau, Northern senators warn against reprisal attack. Constitutional amendments will correct structural imbalances in Nigeria and deepen democracy, says Senate leader Bamidele. Let's see, which other story? Gunmen attack Benue Links bus, kidnap driver and 11 passengers. While we're reviewing police training manual, says IGP. Let's see, Plateau indigenes in Kaduna mourn victims of mob attack in Mango. Okay, which story? I'm not sure which story.
The gunmen kidnapping passengers in a Benue Links bus. So according to reports, a Benue Links bus with registration number 14B143BN has reportedly been attacked, robbed, and its passengers abducted by several suspected kidnappers, I beg your pardon. Now, according to the reports, this incident occurred at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, June 22nd, 2025, along the AK axis of the Okpokwu Local Government in Benue State. According to sources, the assailants waylaid the bus and robbed the occupants of their variables before taking them away into the nearby bush. The management of Benue Links Nigeria Limited has confirmed the incident, and they've said that this attack happened on Sunday. Like we said, the vehicle departed from Abeokuta with 12 passengers and the driver, and was later discovered by the roadside Atike with some of the passengers' luggage. However, the driver and 11 passengers were missing. One passenger managed to escape and reached the AK police station and reported that the bus was ambushed by armed kidnappers. Lots of sad things happening to people from Benue State, and these kidnappings continue to occur. It looks like kidnappers are roaming free. It's important that our state's police continue to work across borders.
Even this chief judge who was kidnapped in Bayelsa, it's how they've turned it to a lucrative business.
Absolutely.
With no stop. A chief judge was just kidnapped in Bayelsa. I think, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? He was whisked away from a popular
Somebody was recording that. Really, really sad indeed.
So food security, women lament exclusion, credit barriers. According to what we have here, women farmers have decried their non-inclusion in decision-making, policy formulation, access to credit, among other critical issues in the nation's pursuit of food security. Now, the public relations officer of Ogbonge Women, which is a non-profit organization, has come to say that women have been sidelined, despite the fact that you have 60 to 80% of women in agriculture when it comes to having access to funds and distribution of agricultural produce and reinvestment. Women have been sidelined and they are giving it to men, and they are saying this is not right at all. According to them, if they must have to jettison the food insecurity and make food available in the Nigerian market, they have to include the women, who are one of the major parts of the agricultural sector in Nigeria.
Okay, so let me talk about the constitutional review that is ongoing. So Senator Kwayemi Bamidele, who's the Senate leader, assured Nigerians that the forthcoming zonal public hearings on the proposed amendment of the 1999 Constitution will be inclusive and participatory. Participatory. Bamidele, also, who represents Ekiti, gave the assurance that the midterm statement that the constitutional review will soon commence public hearings. I mean, this is important because everybody has been talking about constitutional review for many years. We're not even sure what it is anymore, because different constitutional review means different things to different people. I know there was a state review that happened. Now this is going to be a zonal review. So it emphasizes the need for far-reaching constitutional reforms to correct long-standing structural imbalances in the Federation and Nigeria's democracy. The lawmaker further stated that the 10th Assembly had made significant legislative process and the vision goes beyond just passing bills. I'm happy about this. I hope that people come out for this. It's a public hearing, so they'll come to us and tell us these are the things we've agreed to review. If we're in agreement, we give them our support, or we can then share with us their own thoughts.
Yes, I do. Frank Onyeka on setting on next move. So Frank Onyeka, for sports lovers, would know the name, right? And he's been a Super Eagles midfielder, and at some point he's had some issues with his clubs and all of that. So currently he's uncertain about his future in the English Premier League club. And one of the things he said was that right now, I need to go back to Brentford. Brentford was the club where he was before. And he says that I have to speak with the coach, but I don't know who the coach is. And so he's 27 years, but we see that he seems young, but for an athlete, 27 is not such a long time or such a young age. So he needs to really, really get his act together and know what he's doing going forward, right? So all the best to Frank Onyeka going forward.
Okay, those football lovers. So, Vanguard, yes.
Vanguard, right?
Yes.
FG kicks as US issues.
Have you read?
I thought that's what we were reading.
No, she's not ready.
I think I have. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's Vanguard, right?
Hunger, poverty, now security. I've not read Vanguard, but there's really nothing to read. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so federal government kicks as US issues security advisory on Abuja. Recently, we heard that the US government has issued an advisory to its citizens that they should avoid any public places and military zones in Nigeria, especially in Abuja. So the federal government yesterday rejected the security advisory issued by the United States government to its citizens living in Abuja, stating that there is no security threats within the federal capital territory. So, but as we said, they've they earlier issued a fresh travel advisory on their official website. Well, the long and short of it is, U.S. government, they are trying to protect their citizens and telling them, please don't go to public places. Even you, that you have to use security men, be careful. But Nigerian government, of course, say, don't worry, we are free, we are safe.
Yes,
Abuja is one of the safest
bombing around as it's testing us. I beg, they should face their front. Which other story?
So I have a story on Lagos plastic ban could trigger job losses, says the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. We know that there has been a ban on single-use plastics over time by the Lagos State Ministry of Environment. And so the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is saying that this could lead to job losses and economic operational losses. It could also lead to social consequences for the manufacturers, the traders, the recyclers, and the end users. And so the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that it is not a plastic problem, but a waste management failure. It is the failure of plastic waste management that leads to pollution, not the material itself. So it's kind of like making a point or a case against the fact that single-use plastics, yes, would lead to job losses, but there has to be proper management systems in terms of the waste to ensure that Lagos State flows.
If we lose job because we don't use plastic, it creates an opportunity to create another kind of job where we now use recyclable material. So nobody's going to scare us. If one door closes, another opportunity. So they will definitely. And
the environment is much more important.
Exactly.
We don't have an environment to survive in.
So that's a capitalist probably speaking. But the point is that we have to find opportunities to still live in
within our challenges.
The Nigerian Tribune, let's find final stories. Akeredolu's wife, Ondo government placed they all trade words over demolition of the Owo Church massacre monument. Iran launches missiles at U.S. base in Qatar. Alleged $7.2 billion fraud. EFCC arrests ex-NNPC chief financial officer and ex-Warri refinery managing director. And I'm not sure which stories. Many hypertension cases on diagnosis federal government. And yeah. Which story?
I have the story on the arrest. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested a former chief financial officer, CFO, of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Umar Ajia Isa, over alleged $7.2 billion fraud perpetrated with the rehabilitation of the Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt refineries. Now, according to a reliable source in the EFCC, we're informed that the former managing director of Warri Refinery, Jimo Olasukomi, was also arrested by the operatives in connection with ongoing investigations by the Anti-Corruption Commission. Other key, according to the source, were informed that former top NNPCL officers were among key officials who are being investigated on the turnaround maintenance of the 3 refineries. They are being investigated for alleged abuse of office, corruption, diversion of funds, and kickbacks from contractors. According to the source, these arrests were made as part of the ongoing investigations by the commission. Other officials were also are under investigation currently, such as Tunde Bakare, who is the MD of Warri Refinery, Ahmed Adamudiko, the former MD Port Harcourt Refinery, and Ibrahim Monday Onoja, former MD Port Harcourt Refinery. This sum is staggering, $7.2 billion. For refineries that were supposed to be up and running by now to ease, the lives of Nigerians, and people just feel comfortable with putting it in their pockets. I know the investigations will go on. The law will take its course. I just hope that it's transparent enough and that, justice is served. And can we recoup some of these monies?
From where? Can you get the money from
question.
Okay, so let me take the demolition of the Memorial Park to immortalize the slain worshippers at St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church in Owo. If you recall that story many years ago, the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu had actually put up that memorial in honor of those who died. But according to his wife, Mrs. Akeredolu, she was saying that the current governor Aiyedatiwa had pulled down demolished the memorial. And she has described it as the desecration of the sacred ground and betrayal of collective memory. In the statement, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu expressed outrage over the state government's decision to demolish the memorial site erected in honor of the worshippers that were killed back on June 5, 2022. And that's because the terrorist attack that happened. Speaking on behalf of the family, the widow of the late governor described the reflection of the distorted priorities. Mr. Akeredolu noted that her late husband's administration had put up that memorial just to help in the healing process of the loss that was experienced by the community. However, the current governor has, according to her, has shown us who he is and his dishonesty, and it also does not hold the honor of those in high regard. I mean, I was hoping to hear a response from the governor's office, but I couldn't get to that here. But pretty much, she was quite upset about the fact that they pulled down that memorial, which was in honor of those who were slain by the terrorist attack. Yeah.
So what I have here is many hypertension cases undiagnosed, federal government says. They had a conference this year, and the theme of the conference is Scaling Up Hypertension Control in Nigeria. The federal government has raised concerns that many cases of hypertension in Nigeria remained undiagnosed. and contributing to the country's growing burden of non-communicable disease. The long and short of it is they're saying that people don't know that they're hypertensive, and even the ones who know, they don't manage it so well. So the figure is 1 out of every 3 person is hypertensive. So which of us is? Nobody. I'm not. So yeah, you have to be conscious of your health. Always check, because you know when you hear, oh, the person was just walking and slumped. So that's the case. So make sure you check. If you're not hypertensive, try not to be. If you are, manage yourself very well.
Don't say wait till they think. Not the only people where they think.
It's not my portion.
I need to take this response. So the Olowo Award had actually responded to Mrs. Akeredolu, saying that they had actually resisted the erection of that in the first place by the government, saying that it is wrong for them to erect something in honor of the dead around the palace. So according to them, so that was the reason, and they say it has nothing to do with the governor, and this was a decision by the Olowo in council. It's a decision that was made. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.